On this video after close of trade Friday 11th of January 2013. It's actually Saturday morning at the moment, so tricky 3 days trading for me, partly because the ranges were so incredibly tight, particularly on two of those days. Wednesday we only had top to bottom range of 7 points, Thursday was better at 10 points, and then Friday was only 5.5, which is really tricky. So if you're trying to pull out 4-point kind of targets out of ranges like that, it's almost impossible. But do you know when the low range days are going to happen, so you kind of can avoid them? No, that's the trick. But what you know is kind of range goes up and down, and so out of small range days we get large range days. So hopefully next week will be a better week. All in all, basically for me this entire week's been a break-even week. Tough trading. But anyway, so let's just look at a couple of charts. I'll explain why I think particularly Thursday was tough. So Friday's activity, we had only 0.8 million contracts traded, high volume churn bar, so relatively high volume and relatively small range at 5.5 points top to bottom. That's really compressed. And what that shows is there's quite a lot of professional activity. If it's happening at a high up here, that's kind of more selling kind of coming in and compressing the range, basically saying that there's very little kind of demand going on. You can see that in the patterns over the last few days. So we had this gap up day which ended up being stopping volume here, which shows professional profit taking, but you get stopping volume patterns coming into some kind of high turning point. They happen before the turning point happens. You then get this kind of testing where we're getting no demand patterns, so there's a lack of demand buying it up here, and we're just getting up to this kind of 67, 70 type level and just running out of puff. So I think we'll have a little bit of a move down next week, but bonds are extremely weak at the moment, so any money's kind of flowing into equities, and I've been saying this over the last couple of videos. I'm just not sure how strong if we get a down move in equities, how strong it'll be, just because bonds are particularly weak. So it could be that people are using any weakness in equities to kind of jump in. So not expecting a huge sell-off, but we got this gaping gap here that's just looking to be closed, but we'll see. I'm not sure if it's possible, but looking for more ranges next week. In terms of the long-term tip bar charts, 40,500 tip bar chart, we made this nice kind of exhaustion pattern here, bearish divergence, and this is as far as we got. We didn't get a break of that support level down here at kind of the high 40s. We just kind of bounced from there. Another exhaustion pattern. This time it's kind of about 80,000, better momentum. Blue professional up bar into that, but we're above resistance here, so we've got to play around a little bit. On the 13,500 tip bar chart, you can see all that we've been doing in the last week or so. It's just been moving between these highs and lows on cyclical support here, so it's showing a lack of willingness to break any of these support levels on the way down and break us into a downtrend here. And this on Thursday was we tried on Thursday, and I'll show you the mistake I made. I was expecting this to be a big kind of down day. We had quite a lot of selling coming in, but then the market just wanted to reverse, and all that selling was being led by the amateurs, and we had a classic kind of Rambo pattern that just reversed, and the market just went completely the other way, basically kind of freaking everybody out. So just looking at Thursday's trade. Now, normally one of the most consistent signals is at bottoms, that you see blue professional bars kind of getting in at bottoms, and this is the shift down that we had on Thursday's activity. We'd had our pullback to end of trend overnight with a flush pattern going on here. We'd had exhaustion kind of leading into the close on the Wednesday, and just had this kind of blow off move overnight. And you can see that we just started to break down, and we had these blue professional up bars with kind of classic here. A little bit of a tricky pattern to read. Initially the blue professional bars were buying those lows and we were breaking out to the high, and we'd had these amateur down bars, and it just started to break above that. So before that bar had closed, I was actually kind of getting long around here, expecting this to hold and us to kind of test the highs and have a blow off signal during the day. Well, we didn't get that. As soon as this blue professional bar kind of came in, which initially I interpreted as the professionals kind of just jumping on board this quickly in order to get it going, and it just failed immediately, reversed, and we had this very strong kind of breakdown bar. So kind of got out of a losing trade and into a short trade here, and was trying to ride this thing down. But normally what you do see kind of consistently is blue professional bars leading into lows, showing that the professionals were kind of taking profits. I mean, Let's go back, in the previous, day, classic pullback to end of trend, blue professional bars kind of coming into that lows and bullish divergence pipe patterns, a flush pattern in this case here, kind of leading to that low, and then testing with these blue professional down bars. The lows don't get taken out, and we kind of go into an uptrend here. So, I mean, that would be classically what you see. And we didn't. We had a large amount of selling kind of getting this move going, and then it was one of these Rambo patterns. And I'm always looking on the Rambo patterns on the 1500 tip bar chart, always wary of them. And you can see that was amateurs just expecting this thing to continue breaking down and so on, and no, it just stopped dead in its tracks, reversed and went the other way. So I was beside myself when I had to get out of that trade. I think it was break even or made a small loss on that trade. That was a bad day for me. Thursday I was down 6.25 points after 6 trades, and it just, when it reversed and went the other way, I was just so sick of myself. I quit and went surfing. Wasn't much surf either, so it was not a good day all in all. But then you saw these blue professional bars kind of jumping on board this thing and just kind of got going like a rocket. The lows of these things just never got taken out. Bang. I suppose there was a little bit of a pullback entry here, blue professional bar up pullback, after we'd seen kind of the exhaustion buying getting this move going, and then it kind of topped out with these Rambo patterns kind of overnight. So Thursday was a really, really tricky day, and I think very unusual in that there was, this Rambo pattern down here with no blue professional bars kind of coming into those lows. So all I can say is let's hopefully not see many more of those. Friday's activity a little bit better, but 5.5 points of range was damned hard. So initially kind of got short on the break of this kind of blue professional bar kind of down here, short at 66. Which is around here. And this turned into a nice little move on the way down. Took profits because on the 500 tip bar chart you can see this move. We had our exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, cyclical resistance, doesn't get broken, break into this downtrend. 500 tip bar chart, we have this nice pullback to end of trend sequence. After exhaustion, bullish divergence comes in. Have these little patterns, little Rambo patterns, and it can't go past that. When you're seeing kind of Rambo patterns like this moving all the way down, that just mean we're going to have a little bit of strength after that Rambo pattern. When they start to line up though, like this, where we've kind of reached a support area, where they start to kind of come in a cluster and they're not at kind of lower lows, if you like, that's a little signal that the amateurs are trying to sell down here. Little blue professional bar kind of comes in. I took profits at 63 just for 3 points on the way down. It was also cyclical support on the 45, so a trend move on the 500 tip bar charts lining up with the cycle move on the 45, kind of coming in here. So took three points of profit there, and then spent the rest of the day. I should have quit at that point. I ended up with 3 points for the day, but I spent the rest of the day just trying to get short after we had this pullback signal here. And then you can see we had these series of blue professional bars at the highs, and then we had amateur down bars kind of here. So a little bit at the blue professional bars at the highs is showing the professionals are taking profits, kind of maybe getting short. But then as soon as we have this type pattern here, blue professional bar coming in at the low, we test back down into that area, being led by the amateurs. So an amateur down bar here, testing into here. We had all these flush patterns, refused to kind of go anywhere. Well, it was time to go long there. So my last trade of the day was long 64.75. But it was so late in the day that it just didn't have time to travel anything. So all I did was make up 2.25. So I ended up the day up 3 points, and I could have quit after the first trade with 3, but I was 9 trades, and that is just over trading, particularly considering it's a low range day. But I was damned if, having had a bad Thursday, I was going to let Friday be a bad day as well. So stubborn, but at least kind of came out with something to kind of make me feel good for the end of the week. So tricky couple of days trading. All I can say is we've had our low range days, so we'll have bigger ranges kind of next week, so kind of look out for that. I'll tag on that first trade. That was kind of my best trade of the day, and this last one would have worked out for the good if there was a little bit more time in the market, but it was entering so late in the day that there just wasn't enough time. And be very careful at the end of the day. You've got all these kind of particularly the end of the day and the end of the week here, all of this kind of professional activity. It wings around a hell of a lot down up here, so just kind of getting out here with as good as you can rather than waiting for some kind of bigger move is the way to go. So I hope you traded better than me this week, and looking forward to we've got swells up this weekend, and looking forward to a better week next week. Short 66 even, short 66 even, and the reason I'm getting short here, just had a couple of amateur up bars. after blue professional bars, so we had kind of exhaustion buying, gone nowhere in the last couple of hours, so exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, another exhaustion pattern here, blue professional up bars, and the retrace back up, very weak hammered up bars. So we've got supports in on the 1500 and 4500, so break below those, there we go. Okay, break below those would take us into a downtrend here, so let's see, maybe look for another kind of weak up bar on 1500, but anyway, so just short 66 even. A couple of minutes later, ended up being a little bit of a Rambo pattern, held up here, but blue professional up bars just come in there on that little retrace, so looking for the low to be broken kind of convincingly by about a half point. That'll take us below support here on 500 into a trend move, so below support here on 1500. So blue professional down bar kind of came in. No, it doesn't want to go. Just give it a second. Alright, potentially that's a turning point here. So we got blue professional up bar 1500, and then it's very weak buying on 500, came into a bearish divergence. Blue professional down bar, but we are continuing through the lows. Okay, blue professional down bar 1500, so maybe that was kind of just anxious, so that ended up being a blue professional up bar 4500. So the professionals are active again right here, hopefully getting short on this retrace and then following it up by selling down. We've got this kind of 65 levels key to kind of get through support on these time frames, so let's keep holding. Here we go, coming through that previous low 65, so following up here, so into a downtrend on 1500 and minus 6,000 here, so that's good. Made a nice little pullback to end of trend on 45, so there we go, and another blue professional down bar. Okay, into a Rambo pattern, so we might just find a little bit of resistance there. We've got support due on 500, but that'll just put in a we'll keep on going. 64 was excellent. Okay, Rambo pattern down here on 1500. Lately, they've been very significant, and we've been bouncing off those. Yesterday was a case in point, but this is kind of at the wrong place. So, but we're going to have a little bit of support here while we get through that number. Targets at 62. It's minus 8,000 on better momentum. 62 looks a long way away, but if we can continue to collapse, we could get there. Let's see. Right, we're just playing with this low here. We just had an amateur up bar, blue professional down bar. So that was a pretty big spike on better momentum on 1500. Didn't produce a exhaustion pattern. Had that kind of yesterday. So just looking for this to be broken. It's been sliding down, not been a break of a support into a pullback to end of trend kind of trend move. It's just been gradually rolling over. So break below this will take us into one of those. Okay, getting the break. Bunch of Rambo patterns though, just at 64. Now this support's kind of due on 45, but it should line up with a pullback to end of trend on 500. Let's see if we get this continuation this way down. Alright, we're just sitting on this ledge. It's minus 11,000 on better momentum, so we've had a fair deal of selling, but I'd just like to see a blue professional down bar take us in 62. That'll give us a price signal exit. It's bounced up, support becomes resistance on 500, coming back down. Got the cyclical turn to kind of play in, so I just want that extra push. So here we go, we just got hung up around this 63-64 level. Cyclical resistance kind of coming in, that'll be pullback in a downtrend, and that'll give us enough energy. Here we go, blue professional down bar. Just kind of take us down, new lows. Another Rambo pattern, 275. Just looking for 2 even. And the trend's gone off on the 500 tip bar chart here. Got a bullish divergence signal.
And potentially we've got one kind of setting up on 1500. Okay, blue professional kind of up bar there. We've not seen a blue professional bar kind of coming at the lows. I'm just looking for this low to be broken, just to be taken out at 62. So just hanging on just to see that blue professional bar kind of come in. Well, a bit of a retrace, but it's blue professional up bar kind of coming back down. So professional's kind of getting short on that retrace. Hopefully the cyclical resistance kind of come in. Does look like it's going to be bullish divergence here, but we just need to see that blue professional bar. This is a trend move lining up with a cycle move on 4500. So this area is, I need to be out, but see if we just come back down, one more push down. Bullish divergence just came in on 1500 tip bar chart here, and that was a blue professional up bar. So getting short on that retrace, coming back down. We've got cyclical resistance here on 500. And just hoping this will turn around and just test the lows, and then we get that blue professional down bar. So come on, 63 for 3 even. I just didn't want to break. Now we've got cyclical support kind of early here. Haven't seen that blue professional bar, but that bullish divergence right on the 0 line, and Rambo patterns here just showing, you know, the amateurs are kind of leading this, and there's not a lot of selling kind of activity, not enough volume going to drive it down. I'd rather just get out with 3 and just stick with that. Just kind of keep on waiting. It's 9:23. Kind of got really slow there for a minute, so yeah, and there's cyclical support kind of gone off. I know there should be a blue professional down bar kind of come in here. Maybe it'll happen on the pullback to end of trend on 1500. Just wait and see.